Tomorrow is the 1-year birthday of videos on this channel. Episode 1 was on St. Patrick's Day 2021. When I started this channel back then, Cardano was already a lot of things, but I would have probably called it, most importantly, a collection of great ideas and a group of people who understood them. Things are different now. There are conservatively 500 different projects building on Cardano. They think we're a ghost chain. So be it. Welcome to the era of the rise of the ghost army. Ready? Let's go. Today, we are going to discuss this crazy number, 500 projects building on Cardano, a testnet transaction to open a Hydra head, the first signs of what Crypto Bison's algorithmic in-game music might sound like, an update from Liqwid, a mystery project partnered with Pavia, and Cardano Village's declaration that they're about to open the gates of hell. If these videos have delivered value to you over the last year, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. You'll know that over the last year, I've been quite fond of looking at Cardano ecosystem maps. And that's because there's this sort of self-reinforcing mechanism that the blockchain would have a lot of users if there was utility to be had on the blockchain. If there were a lot of projects on the blockchain, it would attract a lot of users. But we would only get a lot of projects on the blockchain if there was an expectation of a lot of users. So it was critical that these two things, the expectation of a lot of users and the number of projects actually building, kept growing. If one or the other fell off, this self-reinforcing mechanism would become this kind of death spiral. If people didn't expect a lot of users, projects wouldn't choose to build on the blockchain. And if projects didn't choose to build on the blockchain, we would lose this expectation of a lot of users. But now we've reached this point where IOHK is saying that conservatively, there are 500 projects building on Cardano. And we've heard from Charles in a recent AMA that this is heavily backloaded to a lot of these projects are going to launch after the Vossel hard fork in June. And we've talked a million times about why that is. Reference scripts, SIP33, inline datums, reference inputs, SIPs 32 and 31. Plus, now we're finding out that pipelining and input endorsers are also going to be huge jumps forward in throughput. Input endorsers in particular are going to allow for the bottleneck to move from the consensus mechanism to the network stack. And the network stack is something we can just keep upgrading. And as we upgrade it, the throughput of the system is going to organically increase. So everybody knows these things are going to happen with the Vossel hard fork combinator event. And a lot of projects just said, hey, you know what? We're going to have much better throughput after the June hard fork. We'll just wait till then. But that doesn't change the fact that the number of projects that are building on Cardano is very important. We have a few projects that are already out there, Sunday Swap and Muesli Swap, and I applaud them heavily for being the pioneers on this, for getting their project up and running long before a lot of others will. Those were not small feats, and it took a lot of courage and determination on the parts of both. But after June, when these other 500 projects are ready to launch, when there's no big hurdles in the way any longer, we're going to be a different animal, a completely different machine. Right now, we're a blockchain that can run smart contracts, but the throughput is where it is. It's in a different place right now than it will be after June. After June, when these 500 projects launch, we're going to be this full-fledged organism that's already well on its way. And there aren't going to be many excuses. There aren't going to be many reasons to explain away Cardano, to dismiss Cardano. If we have that many projects running on the blockchain, and we have users using all of them. We already know we have a gigantic community. The usage of Cardano is crazy even now at these throughput levels. So we know the users are going to be there. And now we know we have this crazy number of projects coming. It's going to be very hard for anybody to dismiss Cardano at that point. But as I've said before on multiple occasions, that's not the relevant part. It actually isn't relevant to Cardano achieving its goal what Ethereum people say about Cardano, what Bitcoin maximalists say about Cardano. I know this is something that a lot of people in the Cardano ecosystem care about very much. I actually don't think it's that relevant. Sure, it'd be nice if they embraced us, but I don't think it's that relevant because Cardano is its own ecosystem. If we have 500 projects up and running on Cardano, and I'm not saying all 500 of them are going to be up and running in June or anything even close to that, but if we have something like 500 projects running on Cardano in the near future, and we have this gigantic community, which we do have, it's not really relevant what anybody in Ethereum thinks or anybody in Bitcoin thinks or any other blockchain or any VC out there who might be invested in any of their blockchain. We'll be a self-sustaining organism. We'll be our own thing. Cardano will be a full-fledged ecosystem, and there won't really be any stopping us. The Ghost Army will already be marching to its own pipers, and it won't look back to see what the Ethereum people or the Bitcoin people think about it. But believe you me, they will be thinking about us because Cardano is a hard money that actually has programmability, isn't a robbery forest, and isn't too expensive to use. What about scalability, you might be wondering? Well, we saw this post from KTORs. This is a testnet transaction. The post read, probably nothing. Of course, down below here, somebody asked the pertinent question. Can you explain what we see, please? I'm trying to learn. The response was, this is a testnet transaction, which is driving a few scripts on chain to establish a Hydra head between three participants for off-chain payment processing. The great thing about Cardano, while our development hasn't been the fastest in the entire industry, I think that's a given. It has not been the fastest. We cannot claim to have been first to market, but Cardano was working on everything, all the legs of the trilemma, and many different angles on the scaling issue, including state channels as layer twos. And here we're seeing the progress actually happening. This is a testnet transaction to open up a Hydra head. So Hydra, even though we've been hearing about it for years, people have been posting images of multi-headed dragons and all of the Hail Hydra memes, which I think are good, but we're actually seeing some real world progress on the testnet with Hydra, and Hydra is no longer something that's very, very far off. It's actually coming now. You probably remember Bisons, which is the video game being created in Cardano. I guess we should just call it a game at this point, since everything's really digital and the video part isn't really the distinguishing feature of games anymore. But Bisons, there was a distinguishing feature, something unique about Bisons, and that was that it was going to have algorithmic in-game music. So if you're like me, the first thing you probably thought of when you heard about this unique requirement for Bisons, the algorithmic in-game music, you're probably like, oh, this is very technically interesting, but is it just going to sound like chaos? Is it going to sound insane? Because that's what I think of when I think about algorithmically created music. We got, I think, our first taste of this in this post from Bisons. I won't play it for you, but you can go to this post right on the Bisons Twitter and listen to this little taste of some algorithmic, non-deterministic music. And it's not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of chaos that, like, loosely we would apply the definition of music to. It actually sounds like music, which is pretty comforting. So I'll let you check that out on your own. Here's some good progress reported by one of the most well-known among our 500 projects building on Cardano. Liqwid Labs says results are in on the Q token script. includes the full supply mint action for lenders, and they are impressive. The first complex script written in Plutarch is complete. On to the next. And then we get some more detail from DC. He said what we're talking about here is Plutus TX contracts implemented in Plutarch with escrow batching solution similar to the Sunday Swap scooper model. He says if this were implemented in straight Plutus TX instead of Plutarch, the script size would be 2x. I think it's great that Plutarch is out there, and it looks like projects are making good use of it. We already know that the Muesli Swap team loves to create mysteries. First, they themselves, the team, they were a mystery. We didn't know exactly who Muesli Swap was. Then there was a big mystery surrounding the milk tokens. There are also ongoing mysteries about their launchpad and their NFT marketplace and how exactly those might relate to milk staking. Here we see another mystery. They posted PlutoBay powered by Muesli Swap coming to Cardano soon. What do you think it could be? Eyes looking sideways. Follow PlutoBay Cardano for more news. And a little graphic. The PlutoBay graphic, if you're just listening, looks kind of like a tidal wave. And we see a few figures, one of them sitting on a gigantic hourglass, the other two kind of either working or looking at the hourglass with some envelopes and a paper airplane. I have no idea what this could be. Of course, you could guess this might have something to do with the NFT marketplace. This could be the launchpad. Some other people guessed maybe this is some kind of a Plutus learning resource. But once again, we have a Muesli Swap mystery, and I'll be interested to find out what this is. I actually hope it's either the NFT marketplace or the launchpad, because I'm really curious to find out how and if those are linked to the milk token. In metaverse news, the Cardano Village team gave us a hint of what we might see this summer. They said, let's tell some great stories. Let's open the gates of hell. We are considering making a web mode metaverse by June, like Decentraland. An avatar will appear, chat, and enter the house. Why did I make such a hellish choice? I will show everyone how good our team is. I will show everyone who is the best team. We will show everyone all of the technology we have. This is great to see. I think this was always one of my questions about the Cardano Village concept, whether it would end up being something that looked like Decentraland, a real metaverse. I mean, they always had those little houses on the plots. Would people be able to walk inside those houses? Would there be things like chat or voice chat? Here they just said chat, so I don't know which one they're referring to. Would you be able to walk around with an actual avatar? What is this going to look like? And apparently it is going to be, in their words, like Decentraland. And I can certainly understand why they're saying this is going to be a hellish choice. Obviously, a tremendous amount of work would have to happen by the team in between now and, you know, anything that looked like a Decentraland on the Cardano network. But I think this is what I've always been hoping for. I've always been hoping we would end up with metaverses that had avatars that allowed you to walk around. And in my case, I'm hoping for audio chat. If we have those things and it's not super buggy, I think anybody who's used Decentraland recently, I use it about once a week for a little meeting I have. I think everybody would agree the voice chat especially is pretty buggy. If Cardano can come up with several metaverses even that feel and look like the same functionality as we see in Decentraland, but without that bugginess, that's going to be a pretty big step forward for our ecosystem, at least the metaverses in our ecosystem. We've got a lot of projects in Cardano right now that are called metaverses and seem to be aimed at what I just described. But when the first one finally crosses that line, when it has, something in the same ballpark as Decentraland functionality, that's going to be a big step forward for us. Finally, today was the Cornucopias GTI Javelin NFT mint. You can see it right here. Obviously, Cornucopias is a very popular project, and pretty soon we saw this post. We're experiencing a few minor hiccups. Please be patient as our team finds real-time solutions. There were a bunch of updates on exactly what they were doing to try to fix the minor hiccups. And then we saw this post. We are currently paused as we continue to fix and update on the back end. We don't like to continue for you to stress and stare at the computer screen while we are paused. So you're free to walk away from your computer. Don't close your browsers. Your position will still be held. At this point, you can imagine what a lot of other NFT projects would have done. They might have said, hey, let's try to wring every drop of blood out of this NFT sale. Let's just delay it and then we'll start back up. Let's get every little bit of ADA out of this NFT sale we possibly can. But not Cornucopias. That's not what they did. Cornucopias did exactly the opposite. They posted this tweet. Everyone, we've decided to gift a free NFT to everyone who was in the queue for our sale but was unable to mint. See Discord for more details. When I went to the Cornucopias Discord, I saw this message. While we resolved previous minting issues, the incredibly high demand for Cornucopias NFTs created a whole new set of problems. The Cornucopias team and our technology partners worked intensely throughout the mint to resolve these new issues. Unfortunately, our troubleshooting efforts kept everyone waiting. We've decided to gift a free NFT to everyone who was in queue for the sale but was unable to mint. If this was your experience, you will receive a free GTI Javelin on behalf of the Cornucopias team. So it's not just a free random NFT that they cooked up, it's a free GTI Javelin. Exactly what you were probably trying to get if you were in the queue for this mint. They say in order to accomplish this, we're increasing the amount of NFTs minted to match the number of people who are in the queue. 12,400 wallets will receive a free GTI Javelin. Your NFT will be automatically delivered to the wallet used during the sale. You do not have to take any actions. 5 lucky people were able to mint, and they will get a full refund of the 95 ADA purchase price. Retaining the trust and support of our community is the most crucial goal for the project as we build out the game. In my book, this is highly commendable citizenship in the Cardano ecosystem. Thank you to Rob and Matt and everybody at the Cornucopias team for taking this step. I think a lot of NFT projects would have just delayed this in order to milk every drop of blood, of ADA blood, out of an NFT sale like this. Not the Cornucopias team. They're just giving everybody exactly the NFT that they were trying to get by queuing up for the sale, and they're giving it to them for free and even reimbursing the 95 ADA purchase price to the people who were lucky. Again, highly commendable behavior. I hope everybody's having a great week, and I will talk to you tomorrow.